out of order here. We're going to start with public safety. So I'd like to open the Public Safety Committee meeting. Let the record reflect it is 6:34 p.m. I'd like to make a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the Public Safety Committee meeting held on May 14th, 2019.
Second.
So moved.
Second, thanks Mike, thanks Bill. Motion carries. Item number 3, I'd like to discuss the short-term rental text amendment. I believe that's Kimberly. Want to take that one for me?
Thank you. Hopefully, we're here at our last committee review of a potential ordinance that would regulate short-term rental. And essentially, we've been vetting this for several months, but the last step here is just to ensure that our intent here is to ensure public safety. We are looking at a type of use that invites public into a traditionally a homeowner's home. And there's some just minimum life safety things we want to make sure we're addressing as we move forward with codifying this as a licensing program. And then in addition, we're amending our zoning code to make this a permitted use specifically in residential districts. The zoning code is addressing that as well as creating some separations between short-term rentals in a neighborhood to ensure there isn't a high concentration of them, which would ultimately impact the character of the community. And so we're here with the Public Safety Committee, and essentially we're looking to make sure we're addressing any safety concerns, and how we are looking at accomplishing that would be, one, we require a license. We would require inspections of the property, which would meet some requirements such as making sure there are fire extinguishers visible and accessible. We would have a sign posted inside the unit to let any occupant know the location of fire extinguishers or pull fire alarms, smoke detectors in each sleeping area, carbon monoxide detectors. We want to ensure that no one is renting anything below grade that would not allow for someone to exit out in the event of a fire, and making sure that the address is visible from the street in the event an emergency is to be had at that house, as well as providing means of ingress. And we believe with that inspection process and these criteria, we can ensure at a minimum that we are addressing some of our life safety concerns, as this is a unique shared economy that we're experiencing, and our intent is to potentially allow that in the community, but also protect anyone that'll be partaking in that type of activity. So there hasn't been much change from when we discussed this at Community Development Committee, Village Board, and Plan Commission. You'll see the draft ordinance. We do define what a primary residence is, and that would mean that you have to, in order to be licensed, this has to be your primary residence, and we make sure we define that and that it is outlined, and you provide proof that 9 of the past 12 months that you do live at this property, and you would have to provide evidence of such, which we give some examples: a utility bill, voter registration, motor vehicle registration. So this is a license. More importantly, we do have some language in here. If there are violations found, there are some progressive violations that can be given. First fine, $200, second fine, $500, and then third fine could be up to $750. But we do have a revocation or suspension procedures that this license may not be renewed in the event we're finding that we're having some problems with this use, excessive calls with our police, traffic issues, noise. It does give us the ability to revoke that and to ensure that the neighborhood is not being disrupted. So I know we've been talking about this for a while, but we just wanted to make sure we vetted all options and make sure that this committee, if there was anything we were missing from a public safety concern, we would make sure we'd address it before we finalize this in front of Village Board.
My only question is is this agreement, this license, is it subject to the crime-free that we already have, or is it?
It would not, because we're only allowing homeowners to do this. The
Okay.
crime-free housing is for pure rental properties that a homeowner isn't occupying. It is strictly for long-term rental.
Okay.
So this is a homeowner who's getting a special license to kind of do this use there.
Okay. Mike, you have any questions?
No, sir.
Bill?
I do. With all these new regulations and ideas behind it, on what, we had 7 B&Bs that we had here, or Airbnbs that they call them?
Approximately, yeah.
Approximately 7 that we had. Are they gonna retrofit and go back to all these things to be done to our standards that you have set up?
Yeah, we definitely will work with them. I don't think anything is too arduous, as
No.
far as what we're, minimum, safety things. Fire extinguishers are pretty easy to get, fire, smoke detectors. I don't know if we have any that aren't in compliance, so that would be something we'd have to come across.
And who would be checking up on these to make sure that it's all done?
Well, as
Department.
part of the license, they'll get it. Our process, we feel internally would be best fit, maybe the fire department would do the inspection, similar to how they do rentals.
Right.
They would be using this checklist and doing a walkthrough as part of issuing the license.
You good with that, chief? Sounds good then.
Okey-doke. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Well, you need a motion to move it to the board then?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion to move item number 3, discuss the short-term rental to the full board.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Okay, item number 4, discuss amending ordinance 2002-0-058, parking on certain traffic routes in the village of Tinley Park, Sycamore Court. Officer Sanchez? I think that's-
Yes. So I received a complaint about residents at Sycamore Court. Andrew High School students were parking on Sycamore Court where there was a sign that used to be posted, no parking on school days from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. So before I contact Public Works to have them put the sign back in, I had to look through the ordinances to make sure that there was such ordinance. I contacted the village clerk, and they advised that the Sycamore Court was under ordinance number 2002-0-058, and it's under Title 7, Chapter 79, Schedule 1, Section B, which is parking prohibited at all times. But then you go and read the ordinance, and it says that it's only supposed to be posted for no parking 7 to 10 a.m. So it's only under the wrong schedule. It should be under Schedule 2, not Schedule 1. So we're looking to just have you guys put it in front of the village board to have the ordinance corrected to be under Title 7, Chapter 79, Schedule 2, parking time limited.
Okey-doke. You guys have any questions?
No, it's fine, it's no problem.
No, sir.
Mike, any questions? Okay.
I'll make a motion to move it to the board.
Second? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. All right, moving on
Thanks,
to,
Officer Sanchez.
thank you.
Be safe.
Moving on to item number 5. Discuss mutual aid box alarm system 24 master automatic aid agreement. Chief?
Yes.
go ahead
Thank you,
and take
Trustee
that.
Brennan. This is a different style of automatic aid agreement than we have signed previously. It's the intent of the Mavis Division 24 chiefs to execute a single agreement for all 20 of the departments that exist under the banner of Mavis Division 24, and to allow that to be automatically renewing annually unless there's a department that is added to the division or a department that leaves, or if some of the content of the agreement has to go under change. Up until this time, if we desired to have an automatic aid agreement with any of the other departments in the division, we would have to carve out an individual agreement with each of those departments. Within Division 24, for us, that would have been Oak Forest and Country Club Hills. But this allows us that if we decide to update our box alarm cards and our responses here to include any of the other departments under the responsibilities of this particular agreement. Outside of that, we do have automatic aid agreements with Frankfort, Mokina, and the Orland Fire District. However, they're not part of Mavis Division 24. That's a separate set of agreements that we do have individually with those departments, and we do renew those on an annual basis. And those aren't quite up yet, but as we go a little further into the year, when those come up, those will be coming back to the committee for consideration. Ran this through Mr. Conley, and he was good, right, Pat? Any questions or all good there? He was good with the document, and my recommendation would be to have approval from the board this evening and move forward to the full board at the next meeting.
All right.
I can make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to move it to the next board.
Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Thanks, Chief. Item number 6, discuss the Mokina Fire Protection District agreement for fleet maintenance.
Okay, thank you again. This one is an extension of an agreement that we've been working under since 2014 with the Mokina Fire Protection District. We contract with Mokina to do some of the light and periodic maintenance of our fleet, not including the support staff vehicles, but just outside of the ability of our Public Works garage. Due to the size of the apparatus and the vehicles, Mokina, has, over the last 5 years, done very well for us in, performing those services on an as-needed basis. At the direction of the village manager, instead of having this renew annually, he asked if Mokina would consider doing this on a 5-year term, and simply every year just update the schedule under Exhibit B, which is the service price sheet that you have in your packets there, and if anything had to be modified, we would handle that on an annual basis as we take a look at the service prices and some of the different issues there. So it's been a very good program for us. They've been great to work with, very professional. They provide 24-hour service for us. They bring a mechanic out if we have an apparatus breakdown out on the street and things like that. They'll have a mechanic respond out there for us, as well as dealing with some of the specifications for the new vehicles and things like that. They've been a great partner in this, and same as the previous agreement, I would recommend that we move this forward to the full board for approval.
Okay. Thanks, Chief. You guys have any questions?
No?
Chief, the only question I have is pricing. Has there been any increases in the last?
Just a slight, just a slight cost of business agreement. All of that was calculated in the budget as we had this prior to the budget calculation. So the increases that they have, nothing substantial, just a little bit of an increase in the hourly shop time. Parts are always as cost and things like that, but it appears to be a competitive set of numbers, and we really don't have a comparable anywhere out there that's willing to provide this type of service for us with certified fire apparatus mechanics like they have.
Is that, are you through? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is that the union shop?
It's the fire department shops. It's the firefighters. The firefighters off duty are hired by the fire district, and they perform the maintenance in Mokina Station 3 on 183rd Street.
Oh, okay.
And they're certified emergency vehicle technicians and, certified and, qualified to operate, to work on the apparatus like we would at any of our apparatus dealers and things like that we would have to take them out, up to Aurora or some of the other places where typically we would have to go.
Okay. Just wonder about the pricing,
Yeah.
You
no.
said the hourly rate or whatever, so.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Only other question, Pat, maybe it's for you, is that there is a way out of this contract in case the pricing does change? I think I read it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, there's an exit clause.
okay, okay,
90 days?
okay.
And any amendments, if pricing changes, will be brought to you guys.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, with that, thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thank
So I'd like to make a motion to move it to the board.
Second?
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Item number 7, receive comments from the public.
Under the heading of public safety, last week, trustee Glatz talked about cooking hot dogs at one of the hot dog stands for raising funds for the various charities. That young lady, I can't think of her name.
Kira?
Kara, yes, thank you. I would like to, at this time, and I should have done it last week, ask you for, again, public safety, that you not give me the hot dog that fell on the ground. That's all. I'd appreciate that for public safety.
How about the hamburger?
That's okay, but not the hot dog. All right, just wanted to get that in there.
All right. No comments from the public. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the Public Safety Committee meeting.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Thanks so much.
You get paper, no, you want public works? Oh.
Thanks, Chief.
Take care, guys. Talk to you. Okay, we changed meetings around here a little bit, so shuffling the paper, I'd like to start off the administration and the legal committee. The time be noted that it is, according to their clock, 6:50, according to the clock, 6:50. Item number 2, discuss and consider the approval of the minutes of the administration and legal committee meeting held on May 14th, 2019. Can I get a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And so approved. Number 3, discuss adding liquor video gaming licenses for the following. A, Class AV for Buffalo Wild Wings, 7301 West 183rd Street. And B, Class DV for Los Tres Burritos, number 2 at 8005 183rd Street. We have someone representing Buffalo Wild Wings?
So, thanks for having me on a quick turnaround for the committee. I went back to corporate asking for what the board asked for, the 7-foot wall, and they're gonna let me do 5-foot. They want vision into these rooms. They've tested them all over, and I'm only getting a test period anyway. So they'll let me do a 5-foot, and they'll let me do 3 games, not 5. So they're pretty adamant about that. So I know the board wanted, 5-foot covers 80% of the game, and I just don't know where to go from here. I've been in the village for 14 years, so it's not like it's a deal killer. If it doesn't work out, I'm in the middle because I have corporate,
Right, on one side, the
and
village on the other.
I never thought they would even give us a test, let alone, but Buffalo Wild was sold 2 years ago, and the new owners are in favor of sportsbook, which is coming to Illinois, we know. And then, of course, the video gaming, they said that we'll let you do a test. So they are doing a test at the Calumet City and the Lansing store, and I think there's going to be one store up north that's going to get a test.
Well, is corporate, who you said was adamant about having 5-foot, are they understanding that the village is adamant about having 7-foot because
That puts me in the
everybody
middle.
everybody else is the same?
Right.
So what's fair
So
to
all
one
the
is fair to
stores,
the other.
right. So they said that, I had Tom Berbeck, who's my regional guy, comes out, and he said how to control it is there'll be 3 server stations that will actually be apart, will butt up to the walls and around it. And those 3 servers are responsible for every foot that steps in there is going to be an ID carded. Because a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old, you can't tell. You have to be on your game. And if that is, we're busy. We sometimes get crowds and these concerts come in, we'd almost have to have somebody posted there. And without having visual what's going on, we're having enough trouble with alcohol. With fake
Right.
IDs and what we're doing with alcohol, we do a good job there. This adds another element of, who's watching it, and if it's a closed room, who's watching it? And I've been told by Excel that the first fine is $10,000, and I don't know if it involves your liquor license, and I don't want to get into a huge mess. It's not, like I said, I've had great success with Buffalo Wild Wings. So the games are not, it would be a side thing. We do get guest comments, why don't you have video poker? Everybody around you has it. And it doesn't, I just, my wife was never thrilled about the games, how they looked, so she was always anti-video poker, and then when the test was available, she said, well, we could test it. And she,
Well, we understand, that the committee understands that you're
Yeah.
in the middle.
Right.
Okay, you're in the middle. I think our question might be, well, and you were here the other week when we okayed 3 or 4 other ones.
Yeah,
Along with it.
they'll have rooms.
They all have rooms, they all have it, you know, and how do we go back and say, well, now we're gonna change it all because of Buffalo Wild
Yeah,
Wings corporate?
yeah,
You know,
I'll set a
We're in the
standard.
middle of that too then.
Yeah.
You
And the
know.
next person behind me is gonna say, hey,
Exactly.
he's got 5 foot.
And
Yeah, I get it.
We have to face that. So we're all in the same boat,
Right.
okay? The village and you, with corporate and with the other owners. Any questions, any thoughts, guys?
You know, I stopped there on Monday, met with Brad, and the location where he's putting it, I think is perfect for what he wants to do. He was willing to do the 7 feet, and then corporate came back and said 5. Had him ask if they would consider maybe do a 5-foot wall and then put something on top to make the difference, and they won't let him do it, so.
How
No.
about this? How about, wonder if you had, if we took our 5 feet and had 2 feet of empty space below it and raised that up, so the solid wall was only 5 feet.
Yeah, no, they only
Probably
went
get
5
called
feet
out on
below,
that.
so
You know, they have the 2x4s,
Yeah.
the other 2 feet up, you know, where nobody.
It's unfortunate, but is there,
I mean,
Do you
I'll go
think
back
if
to
we-
Buffalo Wild Wings and just tell them what the village is saying 7. I'm not, you know, like I said, I got a great restaurant, so it's,
Right.
you know.
What do you think
it-
about
I-
this, Brad?
Very successful.
what if, since it sounds to me like everyone supports the 7-foot rule, what do you think about we just push it through to the board, and it gives you another week to talk to them and see if you can
Try
work
to work
something out
'em?
with 'em?
Yeah, to work them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
mean, it's better than no-
mean, he's
I mean-
trying, the guy, my guy's really trying, and he just keeps on hitting,
Yeah.
you know,
And we're trying to work with you.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
I-
I told him that also, I said, that, you know, it's available, they don't want it visible.
Right.
It's just, and it, you know, he didn't run it, you know, the other places didn't run into that down in, and I was told I could do the test in Bradley, down, because I have that Bourbon A. Bradley store, and I don't think we'd have to do a wall at all, we still would probably do a 5-foot wall, and then put it in the corner, but then again, it's, you know, 10 was my first choice. But,
like I said, it's up to you. Do you want us to, well,
yeah, I mean, you
if
can
another
push it
week
through this,
help, maybe
push it
it'll-
through as a 7-foot with the, and it was, required the saloon-style doors.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhat of a door, and then it'll, you know, if that goes through and I convince Buffalo Wild Wings, I will staff somebody to pretty much watch that, because it's, I just don't want the problems.
I mean, there's some nights there, you're so busy, and they're busy, they're hardly watching the tables some
Right.
nights, they're so busy, you know what I'm saying? And
Right,
good
you
for
have chaos, and the server has 7 tables, and, you know, you get, you know, somebody falling down over here, and somebody, you know, screaming about their food not out, and nobody's watching what should be watched.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
I mean, it's just
Exactly.
the
They
nature
have a
of the
hard time
beast.
watching their tables, let alone
Right.
the casino, or the
Yeah.
games.
And the part I struggle about it, Bill, too, is where the entrance of where his machines are, I would guess maybe 15% of the restaurant could even see where people are going in, so it's not gonna be something that, you know, it's gonna be out there in an eyesore where everyone's gonna see it, it's just, but you'll see the top of the game, so.
Yeah,
The location's
Yeah, but-
perfect, it's just the footage.
yeah.
Trustees, can I add something to the record?
Please.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to note one thing as a sidebar from the last committee of the whole meeting. It's in the updated memo, but Tinley Park Fire Prevention also visited the site on June 6th, and they confirmed that they're comfortable with if the proposal were to happen from a fire safety and a sprinkler standpoint.
All right, thank you.
Very
Yeah.
good. Thanks, Dominic.
Okay,
I-
we'll
I
try for
mean,
the 7, and get that approved, and then I'll just bring it back and say, here it is. If you want me to do a
If-
test,
Yeah, if you could work back through corporate
Yeah.
and just see,
I'll
I
tell 'em
mean,
that's it.
we can't approve anything here tonight anyway, so it's gotta be pushed to the board for next week anyway, so, you know, I think if we approve it here tonight, you work back through corporate
Yeah.
and, we'll let
I
the full
appreciate
board.
letting me talk tonight,
Oh,
and
of
just
course.
give it a shot, and, you know.
Tell 'em that
Like I
board-
said, I love the town, so.
Tell them the board
Great
changed
town.
their mind. They want a 9-foot and you fought for 7.
Yeah, I'll work it backwards.
There you go.
They want a 9-foot with a ceiling, okay, no ceiling, I want 7, you know. Yeah,
Whatever
I'll
you
keep
gotta do.
working it, and then, do I need to be for the next board meeting, or just,
If you get, not if, I would assume not, I mean, it's up to you if you don't get.
is
the,
that like
If you don't get the approval.
what date,
from
or
them.
Dominic, can you let me know what date that is?
Because the full board will be here.
We should know
Next Tuesday.
beforehand if you got that.
Yeah, I got the 7-foot okay, that's what we'll go for.
It's
But,
next Tuesday.
Well, yeah, if Buffalo Wild Wings okay 7-foot, but I mean, if I get 7-foot okayed, then I can at least show them and say, this is what I have okayed, if you guys want it, it's,
Yeah.
The board meeting's on the 18th at 7:30. Brad.
Okay,
You guys want to approve it to the board? so
Yep,
we can
we'll,
send
Yeah.
we'll send it to the. send
yeah,
it to the
just,
board.
you know, I'll just tell them this is it.
Like Friday
This
or
is,
no, do you think, or will you know Friday?
I'll try again tomorrow. I mean, I'll just keep, you know, kind of,
It doesn't really matter. You can
Well,
put
it's
it on
just
the
we would take it
agenda.
off the agenda if we need it.
Worst case scenario, we put it on the agenda and we just,
let's
I mean,
go for the 7 foot, and I guess if I get approved, it's just a wasted piece of paper.
Yeah.
If Buffalo Wild Wings says no.
okay.
So,
I can make a
I appreciate the help.
recommendation to move it to the full board?
Second?
Well, hold on, contingent of the 7-foot wall though.
Yes.
yes, 7 foot wall with the doors.
Okay,
I'll
Okay.
second it.
thanks, Brad.
Okay, thanks.
All those
Thanks
in
for
favor?
appreciate
Aye.
Aye. So ordered. Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Do we have another representative from Los Britos 3?
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm Jeff Vale with Tees Gaming.
I'm Vanessa Palma.
With Los Burritos.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This is to discuss their Class DV for their restaurant as well.
We met with Mike and talked to other village officials. We have no problem raising the walls to 7 feet around the gaming area in the front of the business and adding a very dark film on the windows so you can't see in, so nobody can see the games from the outside. And saloon doors into the
As
entrance.
well.
Everything will be cleared through the building department when we pull our permits, so they'll have a chance to review what we're doing,
Okay.
both for the building and for the walls and the electric, basically. And we're
I wish
adding-
Brad stayed so he could have heard you say that you're doing the 7-foot walls.
Yeah.
You know, if I
We
knew you
haven't
were
done them
sitting
often,
there.
but we don't, like, we just went through Orland, and for some reason, they passed their ordinance saying they wanted the games not to be seen, and then they just changed it. The ordinance still says they can't be seen, but we built the walls all at 42 inches for some odd reason. But we did 5 places in town. All of them have 42-inch walls in them.
Yeah,
But every town is different.
right, right.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah, I was.
visit there?
I went there Saturday and met with them. The ceiling is 20 and a half feet, right?
Yeah.
And so the wall's 7, and they're, obviously, they'll have to go through the fire department and the zoning, but, or the planning department, but there was no obstructions whatsoever. The front 2 windows, they're gonna smoke.
Right.
And that was it. Yeah, they were gonna redo all the criteria that we asked.
Okay. Hope you're watching yourself going to all these restaurants now, you're not eating.
I didn't eat at one. Walked in with a coffee and a water.
We want to recommend it, put it to the board, or run through tonight?
I'll make a motion to send it to the board for
Okay.
approval.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And
Great,
so
thank
moved.
you.
We'll see you
Thanks,
next
guys.
week. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate you working with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, discuss the 2020 Census Complete Count Committee for the Village of Tinley Park. Is that you? Oh, there we go.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Hello.
Next year is the big year, 2020, the census comes again. I was here 10 years ago when we had the last census, and we had a complete count committee then. And the clerk asked me to run this by you to have a resolution to create a complete count committee. What the complete count committee is, it's a combination of village, folks from the village, folks from schools, faith-based organizations, charity organizations, businesses, to get the word out about the census and how safe it is to make sure you're counted, because it's important for the village and get tax dollars from the federal government. Our state and federal representatives come from the census. So this resolution will just help us to create a complete count committee, and we'll gather those folks and get trained and get the word out to our citizens about the census.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions, gentlemen?
No, sir.
Nope. Sounds good to me.
Make a recommendation to move this to the board.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. It's on the next board. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
See you in 10 years.
Well, I don't know
See you in
about that.
2030.
Thanks, Laura.
You're just doing a fine job every 10 years with this committee. We should keep you on it, that's all. Okay, receive update on the transition of duties between the clerk's office and finance.
I'll just stay up here for this one. I'm just going to go over this memo with you guys for a little bit. It explains it really well. In May of 2017, the village completed a staffing level analysis of the administrative departments. This assessment took a comprehensive look at the staffing requirements of certain village hall functions. This analysis noted that other organizations surveyed the responsibility for the functions such as cashiering, balancing the drawers, collecting payments, licensing are commonly found in the treasurer's or finance department. In Tinley Park, historically, the clerk has been designated the collector, and accordingly, these collection-related functions have traditionally been found in the clerk's office here. However, the better part of the last 4 decades, the treasurer's office and finance department have played a very significant role in the cash handling and licensing functions due to the close proximity of the accounting and treasury activities. There's been a general concurrence with the staffing study that the collection functions are best suited to be realigned in the finance department. There are currently 4 staff positions within the clerk's office that dedicate a significant portion of their time to the collection duties. As referenced above, the staff have the responsibility of cashiering, balancing the drawers, collecting bills, and licensing fees. On June 15th, that's this week, 2 full-time clerks, 1 part-time clerk, and 1 part-time administrative assistant will be reclassified to the finance department from the clerk's office. The deputy clerk, the FOIA coordinator, a clerk 2, and a part-time committee secretary will remain under the direction of the clerk's office. They'll continue to be responsible for the duties that fall under the clerk, including keeping the village records, maintaining codes, official documents, elections, ethics management, solicitor's permits, FOIA requests, census activity, voters registration, and many other things. Brad, you got anything?
I have nothing.
Want to add?
Does this have to be changed by ordinance or something? No?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, this was, a few years ago, we actually hired a firm called Matrix that actually made a number of recommendations. I think Bill, you've been
Right.
on the board with some of them. One of the big ones was consolidating planning, economic development, and building to a department. It was also that study that recommended getting a full-time IT manager. This was really kind of the last major recommendation to be implemented from that. So, I know sometimes it's questions whether, when we hire consultants, whether they actually do any good. And this one is, there's a lot of good recommendations like this that I think will make us more efficient, and some of the other ones that have saved us some money too.
Well, we're always looking for efficiency and saving money.
Yes.
Yep.
Any
Laura and I
questions?
have been working on this for a number of months, and
Uh-huh.
we finally sat down and said, let's set a date, and so this week falls as the end of a pay period, so we figured that was a good time to make the transition.
Okay.
And the clerks in the finance department work really close together on other things too, but especially this. And honestly, the finance part, the collecting part of it, it's all them. I mean, the clerk's side takes enough for me and the other couple girls to keep us busy. So they're only getting their credit where credit is due then, I guess. Because they do all the, most of the.
So you don't need anything from us per se?
No.
Just
No,
kind of
that's just an
informational.
update.
Oh,
Yeah.
information, okay.
Yeah.
Any questions, boys?
Nope.
Appreciate the information.
Sounds good to me.
Any public comment? Let the record show there is none. And I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting of Administration and Legal Committee. All those
Second.
in favor? Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so ordered. We are adjourned.
I'd like to open the Public Works Committee at 7:08. I'd like to make a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the Public Works Committee meeting held on May 14, 2019.
Second?
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 3, discuss Public Works purchasing thresholds. John, do you want to take that one?
Yes, thank you, sir. It was discussed amongst our staff based on the recent purchasing policy that was approved, that the current threshold for request and quotes was set at $2,500. For our day-to-day operations, that $2,500 is very often. We've had multiple points where contractors have made a statement that, their time to constantly issue quotes has become a waste for them to show up to the site and give a quote just for that fact. So it is our request that, based on the day-to-day operations that Public Works oversees, that we increase the requirement for a multiple quote up to $7,500. As you see in our, memo here, that the average cost of a day for, construction operations with material, $3,500 could be an average single day. So that's why we're asking the increase to the approximate of a 2-day operation, which would be in the range of $7,500.
Any questions?
Nope.
Do we need to move that to the board?
Changing the policy? Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to move it to the board.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, John. Number
We
4,
adopted the purchase, I believe we adopted the purchasing policy by ordinance, so there would be an amendment to the ordinance.
Yeah.
Right.
thanks, Brian. Number 4, it's not ready yet, so I'm going to table that until the next committee meeting. Number 5, discuss
vote for
water.
that?
Sorry?
Do you need a vote for that?
No.
Table it?
It's not ready.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
ready. 5, discuss water assessment program. John?
Okay, this is a extension of a previous approved RFQ with M.E. Simpson. The water assessment inspects our fire hydrant maintenance, fire hydrant flow testing, water system leak survey, and valve exercising. This RFQ was received in 2019 with the allowable extension of the RFQ. Funding is available in our current budget, and we're just asking for the approval to extend this contract for an additional year.
Any questions?
You're happy and satisfied with them, obviously?
Yes, sir.
Questions?
Bill?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to move that to the board.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Grange Road. Skip the LaGrange Road.
Number 6, discuss Richland Avenue sanitary sewer lining project. John, is there a question? Dave?
I'm sorry?
Is there a question?
Well, we're just gonna, you just skipped the LaGrange Road.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I said I was tabling it
Okay.
to the next
Okay.
committee meeting.
not right.
Thank you. I didn't hear you.
That's okay. Okay, thanks, Brad.
Make-
No, better to be safe than sorry.
Making sure we had it all covered, thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Brad. John, you want to take 6?
Yes, sir. All right, as our ongoing sanitary sewer maintenance program, we have in front of you a bid that went out for lining 2 sections of our sanitary system that handles roughly 40% of the village's wastewater. It's on Ridgeland Avenue from 167th Street to 175th Street. There are 2 parallel sanitary mains existing there. We did clean and televise the lines in 2018 and found that the information that was found from this televising, that the sewers are beginning to deteriorate, and it was recommended by the engineers that reviewed those tapes at that time to have these lines, or have the pipes lined to prevent further damage. It did go out to bid. There was like 5 responses that came out to bid. The original estimate was $1.2 million for the project, but we had a good bid come back at $786,000 from In Situ Forum out of Orland Park.
Wow, that's great.
Requesting for approval from this bid.
Good, and they're local. Any questions, guys?
Says Ridgeland Avenue was cleaned and televised in 2018?
Yes, sir.
Is that on Channel 4?
It might have been. Late night television.
It's very dull, but very dull viewing, I'll tell you.
Like to make a motion to move it to the board?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Thanks, John. Number 7, you're up again. Discuss police station shooting range cleaning service contract.
This is a annual maintenance contract that we have for cleaning and removal of the hazardous waste, the hazardous lead, replacement of the HEPA, HEPA vacuum filters. Again, that's a hazardous waste requirement. It is an annual maintenance contract. We budget $24,000, annually for that, and the contract amount is at $18,000. So asking for committee and board approval to continue with that maintenance contract.
Okay.
A
And,
question, is this done every year?
It is done multiple times each year.
Okay, multiple times, okay.
And this company's had it for the last 12 years.
Yes, sir. We occasionally do go looking for competitive quotes on this, but Best Technologies, I think that has the market pretty much cornered on this, because the last time I was involved in receiving other quotes, they're from out-of-state contractors. So obviously Best Technologies being local, they didn't really have much chance with those other contractors.
Any other questions? I'd like to make a motion to move it to the next week's board meeting.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 8, discuss 2019 municipal parking lot improvement project. Colby, can you take that one?
Yes, sir, thank you. This project consists of parking lot improvements for 2 of our 80th Avenue Metro train station lots, the south lot here at Village Hall, the helicopter landing pad at the fire training station, and our Oak Park Avenue Metro train station. There were 6 bids that were obtained on June 4th. The lowest responsible bidder was K5 Construction in the amount of $495,161.96. There is sufficient funding in this year's capital improvement budget, so I was looking for approval to award this project in that amount to K5 Construction.
Any,
Just a question, does this include, and I don't know how much has to be done, if any, but a striping, for the helicopter pad or the different
Yes,
things around?
that's restripe, it's a patch of that whole area with a little bit more and restriping that whole thing, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
okay.
Need a motion?
And just we're looking at something real quick. Okay. And John, you have no problem, or Kobe, with K5?
I've never had any problems with it, no.
Okay. And we'll
We've
make a
done
motion?
business with them before.
Sorry?
We've done business with them before.
Thanks, Brad. The guru of information. Make a motion to move it to the next week's board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 9, discuss concrete flat work. Colby.
Thank
could
you,
take that
sir.
one?
Yeah, this project consists of removing and replacing some concrete sidewalks, some curb and gutter, and driveways throughout the village, as well as constructing a retaining wall around our calcium chloride tank at the Public Works facility. We obtained 2 bids back on June 4th for this project, and our low bidder was J.J. Newell Construction in the amount of $224,804.50. This project also has potential for it being extended for 2 more years at 2.5% increase per year. So there's sufficient funds in this year's budget under two budget line items, and I was looking for approval to award this project in that amount to J.J. Newell.
Okay, any questions? Make a motion to move it to the next week's board.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
The pavement striping plan for 2019. Colby, can you take that?
Yes, sir, thank you. This year, the Public Works Department added a separate line item in our budget to clean, paint, and restripe a number of our streets in the village. We received 4 bids back on June 4th for this project, and the low responsible bidder was Traffic Control Company in the amount of $58,483.50. Due to the bids coming in well under this budget, we would like to increase the quantity and overall cost of the work by about 50%. That would bring the total cost of the project to about $87,000. Again, this project has potential for a 2-year extension at 1.25% increase per year. We're looking, there is sufficient funds in this year's road and bridge budget, so we're looking for approval to award this project and that amount to Traffic Control Company.
Is there any chance that they missed anything, that they're so low, them in Precision?
Uh,
It's like two different sets of bids we have here.
Correct, yes. I did talk with some of these, with marking specialists and actually Road Safe. Those guys do not have the equipment to do anything other than walk behind. These other guys have the vehicles that can actually stripe driving up and down the road versus actually having to walk behind all their equipment. So that's the big difference you're seeing there. And, they were concerned about even bidding, and I said, hey, we're looking for prices. Let's, if you're willing to provide the time and do it, provide the bid. So, yeah, that's why you're seeing the big difference in the tool.
That's, I mean, it's 3 times as much almost.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Comey.
Yep.
Any questions?
I have one question, and I know that back when we were doing the budget, I had brought up an idea that I wanted to see put in the budget, was as I drive around and you see the flashing lights, I was particularly one on 175th Street. They have the flashing light there for the crossing guard with lights flashing 20 miles an hour speed limit. And I had people go around me because I was going 20 miles an hour, okay?
Yeah.
And it's happened to me a couple of times. So I brought it up at the time about striping around, to let people know that from point A to point B
Yep.
is a school zone.
Yep.
Is that covered in this here, when it says here about the protection requirements and traffic control and so on and so forth? Is that?
Yes,
considering that's
yeah,
covered?
that initially, that work initially was not in here. We had some, another fund to handle that, but with the increase that we're talking about here, we would address issues exactly what you're talking about, yes.
Yeah, okay. Not necessarily where they have to spell out school zone.
No, sure, no, right.
But just the
But
stripe to
the
say
stripes,
from this
exactly.
light to that light.
Yep.
Is where it happens, because people, they don't even know me, and I'm getting the number 1 signal from them. Just one
Right.
finger, I think they're
Right.
telling me I'm number 1. I'm not sure, because I'm going slow, the whole distance.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's good to define those limits of what needs to be.
Right,
the
because a
school
lot of people
zone.
don't realize, once you get past it, they zoom out.
Absolutely.
I don't know if Orland has any problems, but that light at 151st Street by the school over there, they could have cops making money all the time sitting there.
Waiting there, yeah.
It's terrible, just absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I think on 175th, isn't there a stop and start bar that was placed up there a couple years ago for that purpose? In front of,
Prairie View
yeah.
has one, okay, at 175th and 88th Avenue. They have one there for Prairie View. But farther down the road, when you get towards where they turn off to go to Andrew, okay, after 84th Avenue, or 88th Avenue West, people ignore those flashing lines. You know.
Yeah, that I was
Or
thinking of.
flashing
the
lights.
Section.
Right. That's where I got the idea, and I think Kevin's the one that brought up where you just said in front of Prairie View that they were experimenting with it or whatever. But that definitely needs to be done around here, our schools.
Yep.
Okay,
I agree.
thank you.
Yep.
Make a motion to send it to next week's board?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 11, discuss water system analysis, water model preparation. John, you're back up.
Yes, sir, thank you. This is proposed for our water main system analysis. We have investigation that is done on a 3 to 5 year basis. It investigates issues that include our design, operations, system planning, water quality, water loss, energy management, and emergency response. It does a full system model and then gives us recommendations along with GIS placement for our mapping equipment. And based on industry standard, this is something that is recommended to be done every 3 to 5 years. And then, every 5 years, it's recommended to have a whole system analysis done. We already have budgeted for this in this current fiscal year, and we're asking that the committee and board approve a contract with Baxter and Woodman Engineering to perform the water system analysis.
Any questions on your water? Bill?
No, I'm fine.
Nope.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to move it to the board.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. HVAC equipment. which is working really well in here.
Why do you say that, Mike? My ice cubes are getting bigger.
Discuss HVAC equipment annual service contract renewal. John, can you take that one?
Yes, sir. This is an annual maintenance contract. This includes all of our facilities that we are responsible for, and all of the HVAC included. It is, again, a renewal of a annual contract. We've utilized Murphy and Miller for approximately the past 10 years, and have found them to perform all our services satisfactorily. We have a budget in this current fiscal year, and asking that the committee and board approve the annual maintenance contract with them in the amount of $16,786.
Any questions?
I
John.
see it's over budget. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks like it's over budget this year, but they have, we've used them the last 10 years?
Yes, sir.
And
And they are definitely involved in all of our village-owned equipment. They, have very extensive knowledge. We do, again, occasionally look for comparable pricing. It wasn't done this year, but, recently we have asked for comparable pricing just to see where things would fall in.
Okay.
With the technology of HVAC equipment, sometimes it, it's a double-edged sword. You may get a cheaper bid, but, you're going to lose that quality of the contractor by doing it because, again, understanding our systems is a large part of this contract.
Right. Okay. When was the last time we got a bid on this?
It's probably 2 to 3 years ago now.
Okay.
I think, it was about 3 years ago.
Okay. Any questions?
I don't think, it's only $650, but did you know that was coming or whatever?
No, we were not aware of the increase, and a lot of times we'll budget based on last year with a small increase on what our budget was, and you're either dealing with labor rate increase or something of the sort. So obviously our budget increase was just slightly off from what the contract increase was.
Well, for all the money we saved on the other projects we've already gone
Right.
through, we should be able to handle 650.
I would hope so.
Right.
Brad, would we be able to handle that?
Well, we can handle it.
All right.
We could take it from the other,
I'm not gonna lose any sleep over
the
it.
striping.
Okay.
Do you have a motion to,
Second? I'll make the motion. Sorry.
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 13, discuss building automation annual service contract renewal. John?
All right, so I found your $646 because we're $1,700 on this budget. This is for our HVAC control building automation system, so it's lighting and HVAC controls for all of the facilities in our town. We utilize Total Automation Concepts of Alsip, Illinois, to do all of our system upgrades. It is a software, so there is software upgrades that have to be done with all of the equipment. They do our full facility inspections, and they deal with optimizing the air quality. They also work with our utilities to reduce costs based on, again, the building automations. As you noticed, we have a lot of motion activated lighting that's tying into our building automation systems. We have a lot of other new technology that we've utilized with this software that's helped decrease some of our costs. This is, again, an annual contract. We're looking for the renewal on this year's contract with Total Automation Concepts.
Perfect. Any questions?
No?
Under budget.
There you go.
Under budget's
There it
good.
is.
Make a motion to move it to the board meeting?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Water code number 14, discuss water code changes. Dave or Brad, you get
I got this, thank you.
far away, Brad.
All right. You've got before you the draft ordinance 2019-0-032, which amends some provisions in the water code, in the municipal code. One is with regard to our meter replacements. We've made good progress on replacing the water meters with our new smart meters with the advanced metering infrastructure, where we're now getting the readings on a regular basis electronically. We don't have to send meter readers out. However, we're faced now where roughly 2% of the meters are still out that need to be replaced, and we're having trouble getting people to comply with the request to make an appointment to get them replaced. That's about roughly 318 smart meters and 10 Rockwell meters, which are even older than the smart meter series. So what we're proposing is that if they don't wish to have their meter changed, or if we're unable to change the meter, would institute a different rate structure applicable to them that would be double our normal rate structure, which would compensate us for the additional time and efforts that are required now to send somebody out to obtain the readings. And obviously, it's a little bit designed to encourage them to comply.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Indeed.
We want compliance. We really don't want to use the rate. We want compliance.
Right.
So you need a little bit of a big stick to make it happen. The second thing is we've periodically received complaints from residents about the red card notification before water is shut off. Concerned about privacy because neighbors can see it on the door, things like that, and it takes us several days to put those notices out. So we're looking at changing the process to be a little more efficient. And basically what we're intending to do is mail a letter notice by priority mail to the residents, whereby then the 3-day advance is based on the delivery. And with the priority mail, we'll get a delivery confirmation that we'll know when it was delivered to the house or the business, as the case may be. And then there'll be a modest charge added to the account also to cover those additional costs. And then the last piece of the legislation is regarding reinstatement of service. As part of our analysis here with regard to what does it cost for us to send somebody out to do a shut-off, we determined that our $25 turn-on fee, which was, I think it was in place when I started 35 years ago, does not match to what it costs us to do that turn-on. And obviously, if somebody's caused us to turn the water off, the remaining customers in the system shouldn't have to pay for that. It should be to that customer. So recommending that that fee be increased to $150.
Okay. The only question I had was, other resolution was section 2. It's, what is it? About the 4th paragraph. Where it starts out, in the event access to the water meter is denied,
Yes.
by, instead of charging twice the normal rate, would it be easier to just make it a flat rate just for billing and staff? Just say like a $200 flat fee instead of, because there won't be any set number, it'll be all over the place.
Correct. But, our rates are in the $6 per $1,000 range with your average consumption. I believe we're going to be able to cover our costs. And again, we want to encourage the compliance to allow our people, as our code says that we are allowed to come in. We need that compliance, and we just need a little bit of leverage to get there.
No, again, I'm fine with that, but I'm saying instead of just making it double, what about, we just make it a flat rate across the board, so it's one easy line item?
Well, what if rates change, though?
Well, a couple points. You can certainly do that.
And we could,
You can
that's
certainly
an
do
option,
that.
yeah.
I would say, the research we did this, we started looking at this actually really over a year ago, because I remember we got some information from Naperville. They have an electric system there. They did something like this. ComEd does this. And what utilities typically find is once you institute this, the people that don't use those meters dwindle down to a pretty small amount. So it's not.
They dwindle down to a trickle.
A trickle, it might be on one hand. So, this is, whether you want to double it or 200, I think that the population of people in the long run that are actually going to be paying this, they're probably going to be a really, really small amount. But,
We ultimately have the ability,
Yeah.
then also the
Yeah.
provisions here also gives us the ability to go in and shut off the water if we really are pushed up against the wall.
Okay, well, I don't know what you're thinking, you know, that rate would be. Would that cover it if we just made it a flat fee at $300 or something?
Well,
I'm just trying to simplify it for everyone
well,
in
it's gonna,
the,
again, because everybody's gonna have different,
but it'll force them to wanna switch to meters and you won't have the
If
issue.
you wanna go that route, that would be fine, you can make it a $300.
Yeah, will that work though?
Is that too
Yes,
high?
it should work.
Is that high? Is that
That's
probably
pretty
higher?
high.
It might be
Yeah.
higher than
How about 200 though?
Higher than-
Yeah, yeah.
Would 200 work?
Can I suggest something?
Sure.
Well, can we, maybe in the week between now and the board meeting, why don't we look at, see if there is a number that we think makes sense, that will get us what we need and still be fair under that?
I just think,
I think you're, yeah.
Thanks.
I don't have, again, I don't have
Let's
the
take a look.
information.
Yeah.
I just think it would be easier for all involved to just have a flat rate. So whatever if you could come up with a number, Brad, on what you think would be
Yeah.
fair for
I will
both parties.
Go back and look at that.
Well, that covers our cost.
Yeah.
That's all.
But again, we're
Exorbitant.
looking at two things. One is the extra cost to go out there and more so is we want the compliance.
Right.
Okay.
So we want something that is enough of a extra,
How about if you,
Sure.
can there be a letter sent out, not a threatening letter, but a stern letter to say, hey,
we've gone through that.
There's been that route,
We've
yeah.
gone through
Okay.
that.
Yes.
it hasn't worked?
And like I say, and then one of the other piece of this legislation is that, you know, if all else fails, and we do need to get that meter changed, we can shut the water off and now kind of force the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, some of these are older, these meters are all older and they're, you know, they're under reading, so that's really not fair to all the other residents
Right.
that are paying, yeah, from an accurate meter.
But what do you mean by 300 flat? I mean, if we're talking.
It's a flat rate charge instead of trying to figure out, okay, well, his bill's $115, so, you know, so one guy, so you got 10 people that do it, one's $230, another one is $300, another guy's $297. Just make a flat rate across the board, one line item. It'd be easier for accounting, easier for staff.
If we send you notice that we want to come in on this day, and it doesn't happen, your next bill was gonna say, is gonna show a $300.
Yeah.
We give notice that we need to set an appointment by such and such a date. If you don't comply,
And then they'll be like, yeah, I think I'll have them come change my meter, because they don't, they wanna, like Dave said, they wanna pay less.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just,
Well, you
usage,
made a
I
mo-
guess,
you
I'm
made
just
a-
kind
a
of, so you're
suggestion.
just talking about a flat fee instead of,
For them to give us a figure.
For the
So
flat
it's-
fee is for the charge that they're gonna be charged additional.
no, I understand that, but I'm just
on
saying,
top of their normal
Yeah.
consumption.
It's like a penalty.
right,
And
right.
it's gotta be substantive, as you say,
Yeah.
motivate action too,
Yes.
Take care of it.
I'll, make a motion to send it to the board, subject to, Brad doing research on, amending the,
Figure. The amount.
Got it.
All right, second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let the record,
Motion carries.
motion carries. 15, receive comments from the public. Let the record reflect there are none. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the Public Works Committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.